Today we're here to talk about Mac University Library and the Greater Mac University. One of the things that I would like to share with you today is a SWOT analysis that I did to help walk me through some of the challenges that are facing us, some of the opportunities that we have in the future, and how we're going to figure out where to start. So in case you're not familiar with a SWOT analysis, this breaks down our university library's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We see our strengths as we have exemplary physical collections, we have growing electronic collections, we have latitude in our budget to reallocate funding where we need in some areas, and our staff is dedicated. We have very full stacks, and we can see this as a weakness. We can also see a weakness in that our adjunct faculty doesn't have their own office space and quite often uses our space in the library as a meeting place. And while we would like to find space for them, it's difficult when our own students do not have meeting space or study space. We need to showcase those electronic collections that we do have. Right now we have a limited number of computers for student use, and then we have some IT issues and then limited tech help from staff in that area. We do have many opportunities though. Mac University Library serves a number of different communities, way more than just our university population. We have a 1980 building that can be modified architecturally to be expanded or renovated to fit our 2020 needs. We know that Weeding Collections could make room for new space, so we have an opportunity. We have the opportunity to train our dedicated staff to learn more about IT issues and technology in general. And then we have an opportunity to increase that community partnership with those many different populations that we talked about. Now, threatening us is that lack of space, because we cannot expand like we want to. We cannot provide all the meeting spaces or the places for our newest collections. Our library is used less and less by graduate and undergraduate students. We have the risk of becoming obsolete because we have hidden electronic resources, and people probably don't think that we are part of the digital age unless they see it. And then, of course, like every department within this university, we are facing cuts in our budget. So what do we do with this information? Where do we focus our efforts? How do we focus our efforts? We're going to focus on our strengths. We're going to focus on some of those weaknesses that we have, and we're definitely going to focus on those opportunities. And if we do it correctly, they will help work out our last column of threats. Specifically, we have a dedicated staff, we have full stacks, we have electronic collections, we have a need for more space, and we have a need for trained staff in technology. And we're going to take the steps to make those things happen. And I'll talk a little bit later why. I'll talk about now why. What is the easiest to tackle? What has the least impact on our budget? What has the most impact on our users? That's how I identified these. Well, if we do these things correctly, what would be the expected outcome? Our stacks will no longer be overflowing. We will no longer need to showcase electronic collections because we'll be doing that. We'll be able to provide more IT help for our students. And then as a result, our lack of space isn't as big of an issue. We have maybe some space now for new collections or meeting spaces or study spaces. The library hopefully will be used as a result more by graduate and undergraduate students. And we will be seen as less obsolete as we balance more of the electronic and print and meeting spaces that people want in their library today. But we can't stop there. We have future goals. Let's look at some of those. What would our next steps be? Limited computers for student use is just not okay. We need to focus on how to get more computers, whether that be through grants or some kind of partnership with a school or whatnot. We need to focus on computers for our students today. We have an opportunity here because there are a lot more people that are using our library or that could be using our library. Our building can be modified. It doesn't have to be a huge modification, but we can start. We don't have to rebuild. We also can look for grants or other kind of funding for these kind of special projects. And by increasing our community partnerships, only positive things can come. Let's take a look at this in a different way. I'm going to use Porter's 5 Forces model. And we're going to go through and talk about specifically each one of these areas. For our new entrants, this is when we're talking about the changes in the competitive environment that's going to directly impact our school's profitability. This is other universities or colleges popping up, new libraries, new educational institutions, maybe nonprofits within our own community, international institutions. Many of our students do time abroad. And then there are the online universities that do seem to be popping up more and more. Let's look at the power of the buyers. That's when we're talking about the pressure that's coming from our consumer, which in this case would be our parents and our students. And we have pressure to provide higher quality education, better services, but at a lower price. When it costs more for us to do all of these things, that becomes difficult to do. There's competition in this model. So when we talk about a competitive rivalry, what are we talking about? We're talking about the industry that puts pressure on one another within that industry. And then as a result, we're limiting each other's potential for profit. Then we talk about threats from substitutions. Another school, in our case, maybe that offers similar benefits. Or maybe it's just another company. It could be free online information. It could be Starbucks. It could be online degrees again. It could be public schools, universities, and their libraries. So there are many things out there that could threaten people from coming to our library and using our library. The power of the suppliers. The supplier can pressure buyers. Now remember, our buyers are our parents and our students, by raising prices, lowering product quality, and reducing product availability. This makes a difference to our faculty, our administrators, and pretty much everything that we do. So what do we do with this information? What I've done is I've come up with 3 key strategies and some points to help support those strategies. This is not the only answer. This is a start. This is our first 3 steps to helping move us forward to 2020. We're going to do a major weighting of the print collections. We'll create new space for new collections and or student study space, maybe even possibly student meeting space with adjunct professors. This is a low-cost option. It will increase the relevancy of our collection. It will replace our tired old classics with new copies that look nice. So even if something is an old book, it looks nice and new. Again, this helps with our reputation of people feeling that we're an old, tired library, showing them that we are relevant. We will showcase our electronic collections. First, we have to increase this awareness so that we know that people know about it and they're deciding whether to use it or not use it. We already have these electronic collections, so it's a low cost to us to move this way. All we're doing is advertising. Then we're going to study those usage numbers to help evaluate our future electronic resources, because if people aren't using them once we've showcased them, then it's time to look for other electronic resources. And I would like to also survey the students and the faculty about the current and future electronic resources that we might have. And then we can hire and or train our very much dedicated staff about technology. Technology is everything about our future, so it's something that we all need to embrace. And I think we need to provide as much assistance with technology for our students. And it's going to take some time training on our part, but then we will also be able to train each other and continue to grow once we have a base. Like I said, this is just the start, and I hope I can count on you to give your input and let me know how you feel and help us build as we move forward together. I thank you for your time.